that creek runs in from the ocean into the Inagua National Park.
Using this location, researchers from the Archie Carr Center at the University of Florida have learned a great deal about sea turtles.
We have two species of turtle in the Union Creek. We have hawksbill turtle and we have the green turtle.
And that is very critical because it's been found that the turtles that reside in Union Creek actually spend a significant portion of their adult lives in other countries in the Caribbean.
In order to manage and study the creek's turtle populations, scientists built a wall at the mouth of the creek.
We caught some of the bigger turtles and we put a radio beacon on the backs of them.
The turtles were then released. Using the radio beacons, researchers were able to document the travels of the Union Creek turtles.
They stayed around here for a couple of days. They went across to Cuba, stayed there for a couple of days.
They also swam over to the Dominican Republic.
Two disappeared there. They disappeared or the battery one went dead, something. And the next one left from there. Went all the way to Costa Rica. And it was there for quite a few months.
Another technique used in the study of turtles is tagging. Using the tags, researchers are able to distinguish individual turtles to learn more about growth, reproduction, and migration.
We have our tails coming in. We have our tails going out because they're receiving tags back from all over the place, from parts of the Bahamas, Haiti, Cuba, Dominican Republic, as far as Mexico, Honduras. They receive tags back that were tagged here in Inagua at the Union Creek.
Union Creek represents a critical link in the turtle lifespan, not only here in the Bahamas, but as well as in other parts of the Caribbean.
The success of this turtle study is due in large part to the health of the mangrove creek habitat. The mangrove wetlands of the Bahamas have long been known as important nursery systems for the turtles and other species of sea life. Here, among the roots, young animals find shelter from predators, and there's an abundance of nutrients present. Without them, our turtle populations and our fisheries would collapse. The mangroves of Union Creek are so healthy and well protected, there are places where they've grown into towering forests. Here we have a model of wetland protection. In this world of overdevelopment, where wetlands are often irrevocably altered and destroyed, Union Creek is a rare and special place.
As an artist, I travel all over the world, and I find inspiration all around me. In the people, and especially the environment. I love the Bahamas with all its natural beauty. From Abaco in the north to Inagua in the south, and all the wonderful and colorful islands in between. But we must all do our part to keep the Bahamas healthy and clean, now and for the future generations. That's why I want you to find a little time to do your part. I'm doing my part because I care. Do you?
You're watching the ZNS Network, the People's Station.
Coming up in the news, the nation's leader on his official visit to Grand Bahama. He says less talk and more action for this island. Also, the deputy leader of the Free National Movement not seeking re-election in the FNM's National Convention. And police officials investigating the island's latest homicide. The Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, starts now.
This is the Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
Bahamas. I'm Shoshana Rolf-Farquharson. As always, it is so great to have you with us. Topping news this evening, the nation's leader and Minister of Finance, the Honorable Philip Davis, making his first official visit to Grand Bahama on Monday. The Prime Minister and delegation arriving at the Grand Bahama International Airport and were greeted by the Minister for Grand Bahama, the Honorable Moxie, and senior government officials. The Prime Minister addressing a number of issues during a press briefing at the office of the Prime Minister.
Time for talk as to where Grand Bahama is going is over for me. We need action.
The nation's leader on his first official visit to Grand Bahama, touring the ministry for Grand Bahama to first show his support to the minister, the Honorable Ginger Moxie.
A major movement in the economy, in social affairs, and any other endeavor that impacts or touch and concern the Grand Bahama area should be spearheaded and go through the Minister of Grand Bahama, even though it may cross over many ministries.
And as he calls for more action on this island, the Prime Minister was transparent. As he says, investor confidence in the Bahamas is up. But when it comes to Grand Bahama, it's down.
This has been that investors' confidence have waned over the many years. And we have been in our movements seeking to restore that confidence. I can see investor confidence in the Bahamas is rising exponentially. I mean, it's really the much interest in the Bahamas today has really grown and continues to grow. But for Grand Bahama, there's always this sort of question mark.
But even with that, the PLP government made big promises to the island, particularly when it comes to the healthcare sector. And while within the first few months of office, the Davis administration has already completed repairs to the Rand Memorial Hospital, the question is, does the government still intend to build a new hospital on this island?
I could assure Grand Bahamians that will happen. I've been in deep discussions and negotiations along with the Minister of Health. We're talking to any number of entities and governments to ensure that we're able to at least put shovel in the ground before this year is ended. For my part, I indicated to the minister I want us to start by June.
Another concern for many is the sale of the Grand Lucayan Resort and the airport, which was destroyed during Hurricane Dorian. Prime Minister Davis assuring residents that there still remains high interest by investors in the hotel, but adds that Grand Bahama's restoration will be looked at through a holistic approach.
The real issue is not just the Grand Lucayan, because there's no sense us putting it in the hands of someone and then the other components for a successful community are not there. So, for example, to have a successful project at Grand Lucayan, a successful resort, airlifts is important. So we have to look at the airport to see how we can get the airport back on stream in a way to complement and to ensure it feeds into the Grand Lucayan Hotel.
Now, while on island, the Prime Minister also had an opportunity to tour an initiative by the Minister for Grand Bahama and MP for Pine Ridge, the Honorable Ginger Moxie, who for some time now has spoken passionately about getting people back to work and the need for shelters for the vulnerable in the community. With that in mind, the minister, along with the nation's leader, visited a new initiative that will provide employment while addressing the social ills of homelessness at the same time. The first stop for the nation's leader was in an area commonly referred to as the back of town in the Pine Ridge constituency, where he met approximately 100 young men and women engaged in a cleanup exercise. The short-term employment is the brainchild of the Ministry for Grand Bahama, who has collaborated with private partners and the police force to clean up the area and use the abandoned homes by the police force as a shelter in the coming weeks.
And we've had corporate Grand Bahama, along with the Ministry of Grand Bahama and the police, will be undertaking the renovations and repair of all these buildings. There's about 14 of them. And therein they will relocate those persons who are now living in that kind of condition in the dilapidated state that I saw today. And they'll be relocated there for a short period.
Prime Minister Davis commending Minister Moxie for the initiative, adding that counseling and rehabilitation efforts will also be a part of the program.
And that might take 2 to 3 months, and hopefully we'll find jobs for them afterwards so they can then go on their own. And that exercise is one that I'm advised by the minister she'll continue, because that number of persons that we're dealing with is much more. Persons find themselves in that situation, and we need to find relief for them. In the meantime, that also creates some jobs for some Bahamians, and I note this morning, even though it's a short-term exercise, at least is something to do.
And he says while it is a short-term project, the aim is to find a way to keep these young people working.
I know it's only a 1-week job, but I've charged the ministers to look at how we can keep them going in the future.
Minister Moxie says this is what partnership is all about.
Corporate community coming together and adopting a house. And so they'll adopt that a home and they will get it restored. And so it'll be at their cost. We're looking at not just halfway homes for some of the people that need it the most, but we're also looking at shelters for battered women and other community centers and other initiatives. And so, again, we are very, very excited about the plans moving forward, and just want to really thank the Prime Minister for always supporting our initiatives.
And she adds that much more of these types of projects are needed in the interim as Grand Bahama begins to bounce back.
What we're appealing to really is corporate, social responsibility. And, you have the major companies that are doing well, but right next door you have people who can't eat. And that can be right. And so what we're looking at is to tap into the heart of these organizations. And really, when you present it to them, they're all on board. So they want to play a role. I think they just haven't been asked before.
Now, the nation's leader also visiting Abaco today, where he assessed rebuilding efforts post-Hurricane Dorian. Prime Minister Philip Davis made it clear that he is not pleased with the recovery efforts on Grand Bahama or Abaco.
Apprised of the restoration efforts in respect to the Dorian recovery. I am not satisfied with the pace where that is occurring. I have spoken to the minister, my Minister of State, who has charge and responsibility of that aspect of my ministry. He too has expressed his dissatisfaction on the pace, and we are committing ourselves today to find the mechanism, means, and structure to accelerate the pace in which relief could be had to our people in the stricken Dorian area in particular.
In other news, the President of the Senate wrapping up a weekend visit to the island. Her final stop was a visit to the Grand Bahama Children's Home, where she met with youngsters and the members of staff. Jamila Mizik was there.
President of the Senate, the Honorable Lachelle Adderley, during her first official visit to Grand Bahama, touring the Grand Bahama Children's Home. The facility founded many years ago to care for youngsters who have been abused, abandoned, or neglected. The leader of the upper chamber noting that the Senate has a strong focus on outreach programs and community initiatives, which is why it was important for her to meet with staff as well as the children at the home.
It was an awesome experience to visit the Grand Bahama Children's Home. I heard about the devastation post-Hurricane Dorian, so it's important to come here to see the state of the home now, and it's exciting to be here with the children and to see them looking so well adjusted and happy and content, and they're well looked after, well taken care of, and the surroundings and the home, the administrators, there's a lot of what they need here: warmth, love, and encouragement. So it lifted my spirits to see that today, post-Dorian.
The Minister for Grand Bahama, the Honorable Ginger Moxie, also on hand for the tour. Minister Moxie pledging her ministry's commitment to continue supporting the home.
We've been through it all since Dorian. The facility was impacted greatly. The kids were impacted. Many had to move to Nassau and then returned here. And it's improving. It's improved a lot. And so we really congratulate and thank the administration of the Children's Home. They've been doing a phenomenal job. And we just wanted to say that we support them. The government supports them. And so we're all in this together, and we're gonna work closely with the Children's Home to make sure that the kids are well protected and have what they need in order to thrive.
Now the Senate President also making a presentation to the home.
The minister and I know that it's back to school time, and the needs are endless, especially for children. So we made a presentation to assist with whatever their needs are this time, perhaps thermoses, lunch boxes, etc. Even lunch. So we're happy to be here and to support this great effort, and to also let the administrators know that everyone is watching and that we all want to be a part of community involvement and community work and to support the little darlings of this nation.
Receiving the donation on behalf of the home was Executive Director at the GB Children's Home, June Hutchison. Jamila Mizik, ZNS Network News.
FNM Deputy Leader and former MP for East Grand Bahama, KP Turnquest, says that he will not be seeking re-election to the post of Deputy Leader or any other position during the FNM's National Convention next month. Turnquest, by way of a press release describing his experience as Deputy Leader of the FNM and Deputy Prime Minister as an awesome honor to that, he says, was eclipsed only by the privilege to represent the country and the people of East Grand Bahama. The former Deputy Prime Minister noting that although he realizes that there is much more work to be done, he is satisfied that he has given his best and will be forever grateful for the opportunity to serve. He's extending best wishes to all candidates vying for national office in the pre-national movement and assures them and party leader Michael Pintard of his steadfast support and commitment to their individual and collective success. Switching gears now, police investigating the latest homicide here on Grand Bahama. According to reports, a man was shot and killed not far from a church in the area of Sapadilla Road, Hannah Hill, 8 Mile Rock on Saturday evening. Our ZNS News team was on the scene and spoke to Press Liaison Officer ASP Stephen Roll, who gave these details.
The initial investigation on the scene revealed that 2 males were in front of a church on Sapadilla Road, engaged in a game of backgammon, when they were approached by a lone gunman who have approached them, pointed a firearm in their direction, and shot one of the males to the chest area. The male then fled this area in the southern direction, making good his escape. At this time, the police are actively investigating this matter.
Now, the second male was not injured and is assisting police with the investigations. ASP Roll is making this appeal.
Those persons who may have firearms in their possession or who may know of persons with illegal firearms, like I always say, to contact the police to give these persons up so that the police can take these firearms off the road.
Now, once again, officers are urging persons with any information regarding the matter to contact the 8 Mile Rock Police Station. Meantime, police are also investigating an apparent homicide on the island of Abaco. Police say around 4 a.m. Saturday, Marsh Harbor Police received a report that a male was found unresponsive on Crockett Drive. Police responded and determined that the man's body that was found near a white Honda vehicle had multiple gunshot injuries. The victim was taken to the Marsh Harbor Clinic, where he was pronounced dead by the local doctor. Also from Abaco, police are investigating 2 shooting incidents. The first shooting involves a female who sustained serious injuries. Police say the female presented herself at the Marsh Harbor Clinic around 2 a.m. on Saturday. The female victim telling police that she was standing outside of a business establishment on Don McKay Boulevard, where she heard several gunshots and later discovered that she had been shot about the body. She was taken to the Marsh Harbor Clinic. Her injuries are classified as serious and investigations are continuing. Now, that second incident taking place about an hour later, around 3 a.m. Saturday in the Murphytown area. Police say an adult female was asleep in her bedroom when she was awakened by the sounds of gunshots coming through her bedroom window. After the shots were fired, she heard a vehicle speeding off in an unknown direction. No injuries were reported. Investigations are continuing into this incident as well. And a wanted suspect has surrendered to police on Grand Bahama. An all-points bulletin was issued for 34-year-old Freddie Andrew Porter, who was wanted by police on charges of assault with a deadly weapon, willful damage, and stealing. Police say Porter turned himself into the Central Police Station around 12:55 Monday morning and is currently assisting police with their investigation. This takes us to our first break. Stay with us. The Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, back in just a moment.
Come on down. Come on down now.
We have safely protected your lives, assets, and aspirations for over 100 years. That's a lot of protection. At BAF, we know that our commitment to you goes beyond a policy or an investment. It's a commitment. Find out how to grow with us. And if you are already with us, find out how we can help you grow even more. Because when you choose BAF, we are with you for life.
Third Dimension on Yellow Pine Street introduces its new home improvement center. Step into our brand new, fully stocked showroom for the latest in doors, tiles, housewares, kitchenwares, bathwares, vanities, power tools, electrical, and plumbing supplies. So stop by our showroom to view our full range of products or call the Home Advisor hotline at 602-0935 today. We are your home advisors.
At Pizza Hut Freeport, you can enjoy 2 medium Pizza Hut one-topping pizzas, pan or thin crust, and a 2-liter Coke for just $23.05. Get your pizza your way for only $23.05.
Fact inclusive.
Pick your toppings and order today. Call Pizza Hut downtown at 352-9191 or Pizza Hut East Sunrise Highway, 373-8500. Pizza Hut Freeport.
Almost everyone will become a pedestrian at some point in time in their lives. Whether we're driving or walking, we all have a shared responsibility in knowing and following the rules of the road. Pedestrians should do their part by following traffic signals, using crosswalks or intersection, or by walking facing oncoming traffic if they must be on the road. And just like drivers should not be distracted, the same rule applies for pedestrians. Let us all do our part in making pedestrian safety a priority. After all, it's about creating safer communities. I am WPC 3428 Bean of the Royal Bahamas Police Force, Traffic Division, Grand Bahama.
So put me together, break me apart again. No doubt about
The King of the North is back. Power 104.5.
Your #1 news team covering the North. The Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
Welcome back. The unofficial results are in from the local government elections in South Abaco. In the Sandy Point Township, 5 persons were elected. Shanique Bain, Stephanie Roberts, Cyril Dean, Darren Sands, and Annette Burrows. In Crossing Rocks, 5 persons were elected to that town area. They are Charles Walker, Theodora Williams, Leon Carroll, Arthur Williams, and Israel Williams. In Moores Island, the successful candidates are Vernay Stewart, Ganva Johnson, Holly Davis, Anthony Williams, and Brenda May McBride. No elections were held in the Cherokee Sound Township. That includes Casuarina Point and Bahama Palm Shores, as only the required 4 candidates nominated. In other news, the Rotary Club continuing to make its motto of service above self a reality for Grand Bahamians. The service organization presenting a mother with the keys to a brand new home in the Western District this past weekend. Our Jamila Mizik reports.
Another family receiving a brand new home thanks to the Rotary organization on Grants Bahama. Rotarians, family, and friends gathering in the West End settlement for a handing over ceremony. Member of the Rotary GB Disaster Committee, James Salts, noting that the home is one of 1,000 homes repaired by Rotary.
We were on these grounds just a couple months ago, less than that, and there was an older home here that had suffered so poorly. And Billy and Liz just said, on we go, and the crew took it down, and this is what we have. So we're so happy to be here. Thank you for joining us this morning. Rotary is all about service above self, and it's our privilege to be able to put Lakeitha Bevel in a brand new home built by Team Seagrape.
Rotary Area Governor Billie Jean Ferguson making the official presentation. Ferguson thanking all of the Rotary clubs on the island for their involvement, as well as Team Seagrape for their dedicated efforts and everyone else who made the initiative possible. She says the project started after receiving a phone call from a fellow Rotarian.
I couldn't give her any assurity, any promises, but I simply said to her, if it is possible, I will have a look at it. And once the funds came in through an anonymous donor, and we want to say thank you, I know you're listening. Thank you, thank you, thank you. The funds came in, and I met with the team, the Rotary Disaster Relief Committee, and I presented the proposal to them, and they happily said a resounding yes to you, Tina. They said yes, they will tear that old house down and they will build you a new one.
The new homeowner taking the opportunity to thank Rotary for the heartfelt donation to her and her family.
I want to give God thanks. He's been so amazing to me. And to all the Voltarians, I just don't know what to say. You're the best. You're really blow my mind. When I got the call, I was between sleep and wake. I couldn't believe it. I was like, wow, God answered my prayers. Wow. Oh, Lord, I just don't know what to say. God is so good. I am very thankful of y'all, whoever is here, friends and family. I appreciate y'all. I appreciate all the sponsors. Thank you all so much.
Now, after the brief ceremony, the keys were then handed over and the ribbon cut, making it official. Jamila Mizik, ZNS Network News.
In the name of the Father.
Awesome news there. Way to go, Rotary. Jay Philippe comes your way next with the Monday Evening Sports Report.
Good evening, I'm Jay Philippe and welcome to sports. It was a jam-packed weekend with a whole lot of action. Let's jump into it with some updates in track and field. In track and field, a record-setting performance by junior Chiron Kemp led the Minnesota State University Moorhead track and field teams at the University of North Dakota Open, which was held on the weekend. The former Tabernacle Falcon broke his own school record in the triple jump with an effort of 51.9 on Saturday, which is the best jump in the Division II so far this season. Still in track and field, but staying in the pit, the Masvia Deems improves her season's best in the triple jump with a jump of 12.04 meters for a second-place finish at the Washburn meet in Topeka, Kansas. Now in the track, Deems also ran the 60 meters and ran her personal best of 7.75 seconds. Sticking with track and field, Michaelin Forbes took part in the 400 meters this past weekend as well at the Pittsburgh State Invitational Track Meet and ran 49.80 seconds, which placed him 19th overall for the Southwest Baptist University track program. Forbes also took part in the men's 200 meters, where he finished 14th place overall in a time of 22.33 seconds. Switching gears now to the NFL, Super Bowl 56 is set, with the Rams edging the 49ers in the NFC Championship game. Los Angeles made good of their trade for Matthew Stafford and are back in the Super Bowl for the second time in 4 years. The Rams' appearance in the Super Bowl isn't too surprising, but what happened in the AFC was for the first time in over 3 decades, the Cincinnati Bengals are Super Bowl bound, thanks in big part to Joe Burrow. The Bengals was able to knock off the Kansas City Chiefs 27-24 in an overtime thriller to book their tickets to the Super Bowl, which is expected to take place February 13 in Inglewood, California. Sticking with football, Grand Beeman Michael Strawn of the Indianapolis Colts made a surprise visit to Grand Bahama and was greeted by family and friends at the international airport. Sports official Norris Bain was on hand and talked about Strawn's impact on young athletes.
We are very proud of what Michael Strawn and his parents have been able to accomplish, and seeing him reach such a milestone. And I'm sure that there are thousands of other young men in Grand Bahama who can now look at Michael and say, hey, this is possible. I can do this with commitment, dedication, hard work. This is possible. And I'm just hoping that Michael will continue to serve as a role model for the other young men that are coming through our system here as it relates to sports.
And that's all I have for you in sports. I'm Jay Philippe. Be blessed.
Dollar Deals is ready for Valentine's Day. Are you? Let us help you create that special love gift with chocolates, teddy bears, gift items, and balloons. Call or visit us today.
Island Bedding is the Bahamas' leading manufacturer in mattress sets. But did you know we also carry top quality products like pillows, comforters, sheets, and much more. Our furniture line is also expanding to meet the needs of those rebuilding. We have bedroom sets, sofa beds, recliners, accent pieces, and so much more. Come and experience Island Bedding today, where everybody deserves their own island.
At Lake Pavilion, we have pre-need, current plot, and niche packages. We are located at number 1 Coral Place, Sergeant Major Drive. Come visit us today and let us ease the burden by planning ahead.
Renew Day Spa offers quality spa, wellness, and therapeutic treatments that combine beauty and luxury with 2 locations to serve you, Freeport and now Marsh Harbor, Abaco. Immerse yourself in any of their many spa services, facials, massages, manis, pedis, nail services, and body scrubs, just to name a few. Stop by for coffee, tea, or non-alcoholic wine, and indulge in some boutique shopping with their fashionable clothing selection. Stock up on skincare products, or treat a loved one to a spa gift certificate. Renew Day Spa. Relax, rejuvenate, renew.
Are you tired, overweight, having trouble sticking to your health and fitness goals? Well, look no further. The Fitness Connection has teamed up with Z&S to bring you Health Bites. This and every Thursday, tune in, and we'll make sure you get on track and stay on track with your health and fitness goals. Tune in.
King of the North is back. Power 104.5 FM.
Your #1 news team covering the North. The Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
Michelle DeCente, you are our Facebook friend tonight. We are grateful for your support. And this one goes out to my 14-year-old son, Jaden Stephen Nehemiah Balfour, wishing you a happy birthday. Mommy loves you, and I can't wait to come and cuddle with you. And that's going to do it for us here in the North. On behalf of our entire ZNS News team, I'm Shashina Roll-Farquharson. The Bahamas Tonight continues. Lord, my child.
Coming up in the Bahamas Tonight, the National Report, the North gets an official visit from the Prime Minister. An upbeat economic outlook for 2022. Where things stand with Heavenly Trevise's murder probe. And BLTA elections on hold. The Bahamas Tonight, the National Report, starts now.
This portion of the news is brought to you by BTC Superfast Internet for Less. Best rate, no debate. Sign up today.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Akush Lapindo. Welcome to the Bahamas Tonight, the National Report. Thanks so much for tuning in. 4 months after taking office, Prime Minister the Honorable Philip Davis today made his first official visit as the nation's leader to the islands of Abaco and Grand Bahama. His packed agenda including an assessment of COVID-19 operations and devastation caused by 2019's Hurricane Dorian. Shashina Roll-Farquharson of our Northern Service in Freeport leads us off tonight.
The first stop for the nation's leader was in an area commonly referred to as the back of town in the Pine Ridge constituency, where he met approximately 100 young men and women engaged in a cleanup exercise. The short-term employment is the brainchild of the Ministry for Grand Bahama, who has collaborated with private partners and the police force to clean up the area and use the abandoned homes by the police force as a shelter in the coming weeks.
And we've had corporate Grand Bahama, along with the Ministry of Grand Bahama and the police, will be undertaking the renovations and repair of all these buildings. There's about 14 of them, and therein they will relocate those persons who are now living in that kind of condition in the dilapidated state that I saw today, and they'll be relocated there for a short period.
Prime Minister Davis commending Minister Moxie for the initiative, adding that counseling and rehabilitation efforts will also be a part of the program.
That might take 2 to 3 months, and hopefully we'll find jobs for them afterwards so that they can then go on their own. And that exercise is one that I'm advised by the minister she'll continue, because where that number of persons that we're dealing with is much more. Persons find themselves in that situation, and we need to find relief for them. In the meantime, that also creates some jobs for some Bahamians, and I note this morning, even though it's a short-term exercise, at least it's something to do.
And he says while it is a short-term project, the aim is to find a way to keep these young people working.
I know it's only a 1-week job, but I've charged the ministers to look at how we can keep them going in the future.
Minister Moxie says this is what partnership is all about.
Corporate community coming together and adopting a house. And so they'll adopt that a home and they will get it restored. And so it'll be at their cost. We're looking at not just halfway homes for some of the people that need it the most, but we're also looking at shelters for battered women and other community centers and other initiatives. And so, again, we are very, very excited about the plans moving forward, and just want to really, thank the Prime Minister for always supporting our initiatives.
And she adds that much more of these types of projects are needed in the interim as Grand Bahama begins to bounce back.
What we're appealing to really is corporate, social responsibility. And, you have the major companies that are doing well, but right next door you have people who can't eat, and that can't be right. And so what we're looking at is to tap into the heart of these organizations, and really when you present it to them, they're all on board. So they want to play a role. I think they just haven't been asked before.
Well, once again, that was our Shashina Rowe Farkston from our Northern Service reporting. Before heading to Grand Bahama, though, the Prime Minister viewed post-Hurricane Dorian restoration efforts. He expressed his displeasure.
I've spoken to the minister, my Minister of State, who has charge and responsibility of that aspect of my ministry. He too has expressed his dissatisfaction on the pace, and we are committing ourselves today to find the mechanism, means, and structure to accelerate the pace in which relief could be had to our people in the stricken Dorian area in particular.
Local COVID-19 positive cases continuing to trend downwards, begging the question of whether the Bahamas is at the end of the fourth wave. Here's Health and Wellness Minister Dr. Honorable Michael Darvald's take on the issue.
Well, we're watching the numbers very closely. It's good to report that the numbers are going down. For us, that's a good sign. But COVID is a very invasive pandemic, and so we are mindful that even though we are seeing positive signs, we are positioned to execute additional protocols to push back in this fourth wave. But I'm pleased that today we're seeing the signs that we've been working forward to for the last few months.
Minister Darvald also at the time providing an update on those lab results that would confirm whether the Omicron variant is indeed in the Bahamas.
We've sent a couple hundred samples to a lab in Panama, petitioning the company to get the result to us as soon as possible.
Now for a look at where things stand, a day without a COVID death, a real plus in the continued fight against the all-present virus that has infected another 50 people here in the Bahamas, 39 of them in New Providence, 6 on Andros, 3 on Exuma, and 1 each on Grand Bahama and Eleuthera. Just one of the newly infected showed a history of travel within 14 days. The January 30th dashboard also reflecting a consistent drop in hospitalizations, 5 of the sick on the intensive care unit. This while recoveries yesterday were at 13 and RT-PCR test at 509, 17 of them repeats. Well, as of January 29th, the Bahamas vaccination count was up to 321,779, 159,229 of those people fully vaccinated. Here in New Providence, 238,452 have at least gotten a first shot, with 111,556 fully vaxxed. In Grand Bahama, the total number there is 43,150, with 20,869 falling in the category of fully vaccinated. Eleuthera is still leading the pack among the Family Islands, with 11,652 of its residents getting the first shot and 5,662 of them getting both. And getting vaccinated certainly has its perks. Just ask Bahamas Waste Management. The company today awarded employees who got the jab and in turn keep the work environment COVID safe. Jiminita Swain has the story.
On behalf of Bahamas Waste, I most certainly and humbly present you with this 1,000 cold cash dollars for you being fully vaccinated.
Evan McPhee, one of several Bahamas Waste employees, entered into a raffle having been fully vaccinated against COVID-19. And he just happened to walk away with the top prize. Other prizes included gas and supermarket vouchers. Employees had 3 months to get the shot in order to be entered into the drawing.
Well, the first round, I didn't win anything. The second round, I didn't win anything, but I had confidence for winning $1,000. Very important, better for your health and better for others. Get vaccinated so everybody will be safe and secure.
For Managing Director Francisco de Cardenas, it was important to push the message of COVID vaccination, having personally wrestled with the illness.
Double vaccinated and boosted, and I got COVID over the new year, and I'm not sure I would be here if I was not vaccinated. So thank you for all of your efforts on the vaccine, and we will continue to plug away and hope that we can get 100% vaccine compliance.
something which Health Minister Dr. Michael Darville agreed.
And the key is basically for Bahamians to be vaccinated. We know that vaccinations save lives, and individuals who are vaccinated who unfortunately get COVID-19, they very seldom end up in hospitals. So I want to thank Bahamas Waste, the executive management team, and the staff for coming to the call and working closely with the vaccination committee to demonstrate to the Bahamian people that vaccination for COVID-19 is the way to go.
Jimenita Swain, ZNS Network News.
In other news tonight, the country's economic outlook for 2022 looks strong, and this despite the pandemic. Central Bank Governor John Roll indicating at this morning's quarterly press briefing that last year's fourth quarter data shows the domestic economy began a significant turnaround from the COVID-19 pandemic's negative impact, alongside tourism rebounding, foreign investment expansion outcomes, and expansion in high-end real estate activity. He says those trends are also helping to support resumed employment for workers and an improved financial outcome for the government.
Growth in 2022 is expected to exceed 5%, which would be significantly stronger than the recovery onset of just above 2% in 2021. For the first time in 2 years, the tourism product is positioned to experience uninterrupted business over the entire calendar period. In contrast, both segments of the industry only recorded partial year performances in 2021. Again, however, the industry will have to wait until 2023 at the earliest to be fully recovered. In particular, neither the seasonal capacity for cruise lines nor hotels is being projected to reach pre-pandemic earnings levels during the first half of 2022.
In referencing the government's recent fiscal strategy report, setting the country's domestic finances on a sustainable path while reducing the country's debt burden, Governor Rowe recommended this.
The important part of a fiscal strategy to reduce the deficit and to begin to reduce the debt burden is that the government needs to be able to take active measures to save more out of its revenue collection, and also to be able to improve its revenue collection efforts. So those kinds of messages do come across in the fiscal strategy report, and I think those are the important messages that the government has to be sending.
Minister of Tourism, Investments and Aviation, Deputy Prime Minister, the Honourable Chester Cooper, is taking the Bahamas' message of investment friendliness global. Last Friday, the Deputy Prime Minister was interviewed by international publication Newsweek at Bahamas' Nexus Club. He's quoted that the Davis-Cooper administration is investment friendly. We are open for business. Newsweek provides in-depth analysis, news and opinion about international issues, technology, business, culture, and politics. Well, still to come, immigration marks its largest recruitment exercise and details of one of the country's latest homicides. We'll be back right after this. And remember to tune in to the Morning Edition with LaDawn Davis and Charles Fisher at 7 o'clock weekday mornings. We also have news updates at every hour, starting at 2 p.m. You can then watch the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, at 6:30, and the National Report live at 7 p.m., all right here on the ZNS Network.
This portion of the news was brought to you by Sun Oil Limited Shell, fueling journeys that matter.
Hear that? If you listen closely, you can hear the heartbeat of a nation. That unique sound of a great country pounding with colorful history, a rich culture, and unwavering ambition. When you look around, you recognize its pulse. The people who love to celebrate, who identify with triumph, a people who know how to be our brother's keeper. Commonwealth Bank, built by Bahamians, here for Bahamians, Bahamians helping Bahamians.
Best rate, no delay. Best rate, no delay.
BTC gives more savings on the best fiber internet. It's super fast with super savings in every package. Compare and see for yourself. Enjoy the best home internet experience for all your work, study, and entertainment.
Best rates, no delays. Best rates, no delays.
Visit a BTC store to sign up for the best internet experience on the Bahamas' best fiber network.
Since eating at KFC, Trevor became the value hunter. Get a KFC fill-up with one-piece tender, juicy chicken, a hot buttery biscuit, golden brown fries, and a soda for only $5, including VAT, and save like an expert at KFC. WhatsApp hi to 557-3663 to start your order for pickup at your nearest KFC.
There's nothing as powerful as knowing where you belong. No more waiting. It's time to come home. Come home to friendly smiles. Come home to convenience. Come home to more interest on savings and lower fees. Come home to our bank and your bank. Come home to Bank of the Bahamas, your bank of solutions.
This portion of the news was brought to you by McDonald's. McDonald's, I'm loving it.
The Attorney General's office has agreed with the Central Investigation Department's conclusion and recommendation that Delano Ferguson killed Heavenly Turvius and then killed himself. Police Press Liaison Officer Superintendent Audley Peters revealing as much, adding that the matter will be referred to the coroner, where an inquest will be held so that the circumstances and cause of death can be presented to the court. Heavenly Turvius was shot dead in her Miami Street home on Saturday, January 22nd. According to police, Ferguson, with whom Turvius had been in a romantic relationship, burst into her home, headed for a bedroom, and locked the door before shots were heard. Heavenly died at the scene. Ferguson died in hospital 2 days later. And we can tell you intense investigations are underway into that rash of recent homicides. Some of you may recall the events of last Thursday when a male motorcycle driver and his female passenger were reportedly traveling west along McCoy Street. At the time, 2 men emerged from the bushes and shot both victims. The driver died at the scene. Fast forward to 4 o'clock Saturday morning, and Abaco police found a man in his mid-30s riddled with gunshots on Crockett Drive, Marsh Harbor. The victim was later pronounced dead by a doctor. Around 6 o'clock that evening, 8 Mile Rock Grand Bahama police went to Sapodilla Road and Hannah Hill after learning that 2 men were playing a game of backgammon when a gunman opened fire in their direction. One of the men was fatally shot in the chest. About an hour later, police here in the capital learned that a man who was in a car with a woman on Comfort Street was shot. The victim was rushed to hospital, where he died. In news from the courts this evening, heavy police presence down at the Nassau Street Court Complex early Monday as the men believed to be responsible for a string of recent drug busts were formally charged with the crime. Here's Anthony Smith.
A gang of suspected drug peddlers escorted into a Nassau Street court on Monday. The men appearing before Magistrate Samuel McKinney for their alleged involvement in 3 separate trafficking incidents spanning 3 different family islands. The accused, 62-year-old Kingston Saunders, 52-year-old Michael Miller, and 40-year-old Romel Miller. The men were charged for their alleged role in a $3 million marijuana drug bust in waters near Ragged Island. The trio, however, denied the charges of possession of dangerous drugs, importation of dangerous drugs, and 2 additional counts of conspiracy. At the time of their January 26 arrest, police uncovered aboard a vessel apparently occupied by the men 53 white sacks and 55 brown single packages, later revealed to be 3,000 pounds of marijuana. Bail was set in the amount of $50,000. The men returned to court on the 29th of March for trial. And on that very same day, 32-year-old Lucianos McPhee and 41-year-old Dino Heel will also stand before a magistrate. The 2 were charged today with 1 count of possession of dangerous drugs with intent to supply and another count of conspiracy. These charges in relation to a January 25th drug bust on Morris Island, Abaco, where police recovered some $2 million of drugs, namely cocaine. The duo denied their involvement in the crimes. Bail is set at $60,000. Meantime, a Bimini man was hit with a $25,000 bond as 38-year-old Romaine Orlando Davis was charged with 2 counts of possession of dangerous drugs with intent to supply and 2 counts of conspiracy. Prosecutors allege that Davis, on Tuesday, the 25th of January, while being concerned with others in Freeport, Grand Bahama, had in his possession 336 pounds of drugs, namely Indian hemp, and an additional 11.5 pounds of hashish. The Baileytown man, however, denied the crimes. He returns to court on Monday, the 4th of April. Anthony Smith, ZNS Network News.
Now, still on court news, a Kentucky tourist charged with possession of dangerous drugs pleads guilty to the crime Monday morning. 43-year-old James Patterson Jr., who possesses a U.S.-registered medical marijuana card, admitted to having 5 grams of the drug prohibited here in the Bahamas. According to prosecutors, it was the 28th of January when police stopped the American cruise visitor near Prince George Wharf, taking him into custody shortly after. However, Patterson told a magistrate in court number 10 he had no idea the drug was illegal here in the Bahamas, an admission for which he was called out, having not researched the country's laws before traveling. As for his crime, Patterson was fined $500. Failure to comply could lead to a 2-week stint at the Bahamas Department of Corrections. Meantime, 37-year-old Damien Dennis Dujon of Westmoreland, Jamaica, is accused of committing a number of financial crimes and will spend the next 2 days behind bars awaiting a bail hearing. Dujon pleaded not guilty in a magistrate's court today on 1 count of money laundering and another count of receiving. Prosecutors allege that while in Governor's Harbor, Eleuthera this past Friday, Dujon had $18,577 in his possession, believed to be the proceeds of criminal conduct. He's also accused of receiving 905 euros, believed to be the property of Christian Schmuck. The Jamaican national was placed back into police custody as prosecutors determine the conditions of his bail. That hearing is set for this Wednesday, February 2nd, at 1 p.m. Well, a close call for a Bahamian pilot on his way to Florida. This morning, officials of the Air Accident and Investigation Authority sharing with the media that a Piper Cherokee left the Lyndon Pinley International Airport for Fort Lauderdale after 10 a.m. when soon after its departure, the 32-year-old pilot reported engine failure. An attempt to return to the field led to the aircraft crashing in waters more or less 9 miles west of New Providence. A search and rescue got underway. The pilot was found soon after. Defense Force officials confirming that he was alert and in overall good health. The AAIA's investigation into the matter is ongoing to determine probable cause and contributing factors, if any, related to the incident. Well, Hilton owners, government, and labor officials reportedly locked in a meeting Friday as the clock ticks on the iconic property's closure. The British colonial Hilton is set to mark its final day on February 15th, making more than 100 of its remaining staffers redundant, quite possibly a blow to the workforce. Labor Director Robert Farquharson keeping mum, revealing only that the government has intervened to assist those employees with what he calls a new and bold initiative. It's expected that the details of that initiative will be revealed during a press conference later this week. Hilton owners have cited the hotel's business performance over an extensive period of time, coupled with dismal business forecasts for the foreseeable future, as reasons to cease operations. A manpower boost for the Department of Immigration. Some 175 young Bahamians were recently brought on, the largest recruitment exercise in the department's history. On hand to greet and welcome this class was Labor and Immigration Minister, the Honorable Keith Bell, who conducted the ceremonial inspection. Well, Director of Labor Robert Farquharson gauging labor relations in the country as extremely calm and doing well, attributing this to effective communication between key stakeholders.
The Ministry of Labor has purposely embarked on a on a system of regular communications and meetings with the two umbrella trade unions. We have worked on in excess of 30 projects since my appointment on September the 29th with addressing outstanding issues in the labor market. A number of those programs I'm very pleased that we were involved in. The restoration of those 65 persons in Grand Bahama who were terminated from the urban renewal project in Grand Bahama. That matter was resolved. The issue regarding a number of outstanding collective bargaining agreements at the Airport Authority, with the Bahamas Public Service Union, with the Commonwealth of the Bahamas Trade Union Congress, with the Nurses Union, with the Bahamas Customs and Immigration Union. We have addressed all of those issues.
Now, still a matter of priority, resolving the issue concerning gaming board employees terminated in 2017 and reinstated by the Supreme Court.
We have regular communications with the Commonwealth of the Bahamas Trade Union Congress and the National Congress of Trade Unions Bahamas, and to be proactive in identifying the issues, having those issues addressed at a very high level, and coming to amicable resolutions. And when we are unable to resolve them immediately, we have set up time frames when they can be resolved. So I'm very, very pleased with the level of labor relations in our country today.
This portion of the news was brought to you by McDonald's. McDonald's, I'm loving it.
Tourism today. Bahamas tourism today.
There's been an increase in demand for air travel to the Abacos. Parliamentary Secretary John Pinder said this is exciting news for the island.
I'm very optimistic to say that Delta will be resuming their flight from Atlanta, and it's been quite a number of years, 3+ years before that's happened. It's just a sign of the demand coming in. I was at the airport the other day and I saw Silver, American Airlines, Bahamas Air, Western Air, all lined up and more coming. We are definitely fulfilling the supply side for the demand of commercial flights coming in here. We're hoping for more to come. We really could use it. And the private air sector is really flourished, particularly since Dorian, since the commercial airlines are just trickling back in. Abaco has tremendous opportunities to relax on the beach, the sun, the ocean's right there. We have some of the most pristine waters, from the blue holes to the good restaurants and everything in between. We have a lot to offer here in Abaco. And it's not just one spot, but it's a diverse offerings, so you won't get bored. You come down to Abaco.
For more information on inter-island travel in the Bahamas, visit bahamas.com. I'm Joshua Robbins, and this is Tourism Today.
Health is the greatest gift. That's where we come in. Bahamas Medical and Surgical Supplies is a premier distributor of medical equipment, as well as medical and surgical consumables. Our engineers are always on hand, providing top care service that saves lives. We carry a wide selection of over-the-counter and prescription items, IV fluids, and other injections. Our products are state-of-the-art, and our entire team stays on top of cutting-edge technology. With more than 2 decades of dedicated service, Bahamas Medical and Surgical Supplies continues to be a trendsetter and innovator in healthcare. We have set ourselves apart by truly caring for our customers. We understand the intricacies of healthcare, and we produce spectacular results. We cherish our partnerships and nurture our friendships as we continue on our quest to help everyone maintain that wonderful gift of good health. Find us on 9th Fifth Terrace, Centerville, right in the heart of the medical service epicenter of Nassau, Bahamas.
Are you or a loved one under medical care? Do you need affordable medical supplies? Ports International is the largest home healthcare supplier. Medical supplies at the very best price. And you can even shop online. From hospital beds to wound care, wheelchairs to walkers, Ports is a one-stop shop for your medical supplies, and we accept insurance. We have online shopping and 2 locations to serve you, at the Airport Industrial Park and Shirley Street. We also ship to the Family Islands. Shop online and visit us on Facebook. Call Ports at 377-1771.
Life is better with Rubis Rewards. Just fuel up and swipe for your chance to win free fuel, cash back in our stores, restaurant and store discounts from our partners, plus prizes and surprises. It doesn't get better than this. Your Rubis Reward tag is free at every Rubis service station in New Providence. Get yours today. Rubis, it's just better.
AF General and Health Insurance has you covered for everything that life throws at you. We are here to protect you and your family and everything you work so hard to achieve. We cover you with liability, auto, home, marine, and commercial insurance. See a BAF General and Health Insurance agent today so we can have you covered. BAF for life.
Since its founding on February 1st, 1965, Family Guardian has sought out ways to fulfill its mandate of making a positive difference in the communities in which we work and live. As our company has grown, so has our determination to give back, and this has led to corporate giving initiatives and partnerships with various nonprofit organizations, schools, and charities. As Family Guardian celebrates this year's anniversary, we are honored to be of service and are grateful to have the opportunity to continue building a better life for many.
Hungry and looking for something so satisfying? Something to truly tantalize your taste buds? Then make it Charlie's, the home of the #1 cheesesteak in the world. Also serving up a variety of delicious wings, freshly cooked to order under 10 minutes, with 2 locations to serve you. Mall at Marathon, open from 11 a.m. until 7 p.m. and the East-West Highway next to Solomon's from 11 a.m. until 10 p.m. That's Charlie's, the home of the #1 cheesesteak in the world. 393-3100.
The call for more to be done to celebrate national heroes gaining traction at a recent Progressive Liberal Party forum. St. Gregory's Anglican Church Rector Canon Sebastian Campbell, who has for decades been on the front line agitating for a system of national honors, insists the level of appreciation and recognition given to those who helped build the country needs to increase.
It is absolutely indispensable to the growth of any nation to know the heroes, to celebrate them. And I wonder how come the Bahamas is so far back. When we look at Barbados, for example, they have a super life-size statue of the father of the nation, Errol Barrow. They have an Errol Barrows Day. When we look at Antigua, they have a super life-size statue of Rare Bird. Jamaica, Trinidad, all these places have heroes parks and days to venerate their heroes. The list goes on. In the Bahamas, I don't know why we are dragged behind.
Now, while significant strides have been achieved, he believes the legacies of luminaries should be preserved and safeguarded for generations.
Well, thank God we have, after 20-some years, we have achieved the holiday. All right, that was paramount. We have a Heroes Day now, and we have a Majority Rule Day. I think we need one more day, though. We need a Lyndon Pinlan's Day as a holiday, as the father of the modern-day Bahamas. Also, with that, we need to look again at the way we honor people, and I hope that this government is bold enough and brave enough to abolish the colonials awards.
There are now 2 people contending for the post of Free National Movement chairman during its national convention next month. Last week, former parliamentarian Michael Folks threw his hat in the ring, and today, former cabinet minister and parliamentarian Dr. Dwayne Sands added his name to the list. Sands says his decision came after much prayer and deliberation. If successful, he's hoping to mount an aggressive platform.
We need to strengthen our associations across the length and breadth of the Bahamas. We need to increase the respect so that we can get advice from our meritorious council members. Look to our young people in the torchbearers and the Women's Association. There are many potential opportunities to strengthen this organization, to make it run like a business.
Well, moving on to a bit of Bahamian history for you. One of the country's famed historical sites is now open to the public. Desmond Saunders tells us more.
For tour guide and historical interpreter Christopher Davis, the historic Pompey Museum, located George Street, downtown Nassau, is a treasure cove of Bahamian history. The museum is now open to the public after COVID-19 forced its closure for the past 2 years.
When you come here and you get some of the various and diverse interpretations of our history, I think it will become very, very clear, right? And of course, this museum is themed around slavery, but it's also themed around emancipation.
Now, the halls of this Pompey Museum has artifacts and replicas dating back from the 17th century. Visitors will be immersed in the traditions and stories of African history.
There's just a lot of stuff in here. The more recent past, we have stuff on the women's suffrage movement and the modern period in Bahamian history from the general strike and the Burma Road Riot in that period. We also have showcased here exhibits talking about various wrecks and also vessels that would have had some kind of mutiny where enslaved persons would have overthrown the slavers and would have taken control of the vessel, or where the vessel would have been wrecked, like the Philomena Morel, which is a famous vessel that was shipwrecked off of Abaco.
You can also find objects documenting the history, traditions, and stories interwoven into the Bahamian African experience. Director of the Antiquities, Monuments, and Museums Corporation is Dr. Christopher Curry.
Pompey Museum was originally a vendue house, which was the marketplace where enslaved persons were auctioned and sold.
Now, this is one of several historical sites that will be reopening since the impact of COVID-19. Visitors and tourists alike being invited to explore and take a tour of history. Here at Pompey Museum, Desmond Saunders, ZNS Network News.
Well, as we head to the break, we'd like to thank all our viewers watching us live on our social media platforms. And just in case you missed the news, be sure to head there to catch up. Stay with us. There's more after the break.
Say goodbye to the clunky, old, outdated, tiresome way of buying insurance. Get covered in a click with First Online, a new online insurance portal from Bahamas First. It's the simple way to do insurance. Visit bahamasfirst.com to get an instant quote, pay premiums, and manage your claims anytime and from any device. First for our car and home insurance customers. It's another first from Bahamas First. What's first for you comes first for us.
Michael, let me borrow your car, please.
Don, I tell you I have to get my car license.
How long I can take, man? Let's go there now.
Why you need my car so bad?
It's an old schoolmate, man. She'll meet up for lunch.
Well, I hope she's taking you somewhere nice, because you know we ain't easily impressed.
You can pay for your license and inspections online now. They'll confirm your inspection appointment and bring the decal to your car.
I'm impressed.
AID has everything you need and more to complement your home's decor. Luxurious bamboo bath towels, face towels from $1.25 and bath towels from $5.45. Shower curtains from $2.54 and organizers in stylish finishes. Bath mat sets from $7.27 in a multitude of styles and colors. Bed sheet sets from $9.95 and 7-piece comforter sets from $49.95. Doormats from $1.93 with matching runners and hundreds of area carpets. Sofa covers from $19.95, plain and crushed sheer curtains from $5.25 and thousands of panels to choose from. Blinds from $7.02 and curtain rods from $2.89. Ceramic and porcelain dishes, tablecloths, napkins, placemats, utensils, and more. A wide selection of drinking glasses, including elegant stemware, candle holders, vases, and crystal. Full-size mirrors, decorative pictures, and picture frames. AID, Wolf Road, and the Mall at Marathon open late and on Sundays to serve your decorating needs. AID, all you really need and more.
Fixed and mobile services provided by Cable Bahamas Business Solutions helps our customers help their customers adapt to the new way of paying for things. Digital Wallets makes your transactions faster, more convenient, and secure. Whether it's using a debit card at the grocery store or making online payments for your monthly expenses, Digital Wallets powered by Cable Bahamas Business Solutions makes it better. For more information on our fixed and mobile services, contact the experts at 601-8911 in Nassau or 602-8811 in the Family Islands.
If you like a hearty, meaty burger, the A1 Steakhouse King at Burger King Nassau has it all. With flame-grilled beef, lots of bacon, cheese, and crispy onions on a sesame seed bun, the only thing that can top this is the tangy flavor of A1 steak sauce. The Steakhouse King is a meat lover's dream, and with an ice-cold Pepsi and hot fries, it's all you need to fill your day. Get your A1 Steakhouse King as a combo or part of the new King's Feast, only at Burger King Nassau, where taste is king.
Undecided about the COVID-19 vaccine or booster? Here are some facts to help you make a decision. The vaccine does not cause COVID-19 infection, and there's no evidence that it makes it worse. Approved vaccines are monitored for safety across the globe. Vaccines do not alter your DNA. The vaccine is effective against current variants of the COVID-19 virus. The vaccine can prevent severe illness if you do contract the virus. We're all in this together. Choose wisely.
Still many doubts about vaccines and the fight against COVID-19. On Tuesday, February 1st, join Arlene Nash Ferguson, Dr. Mercelyn Dal-Regis, and Dr. Keith Rivers for We Russian Against COVID in 2022. If you have any questions about vaccines, boosters, variants, and more, send them to OPM Communications at bahamas.gov.bs. Your questions will be answered live on your favorite television network or live stream on Tuesday, February 1st at 8 p.m.
Sandals Foundation officials doing all they can to assist Exuma residents. Sandals Emerald Bay recently donated several food vouchers to local clergymen on that island to assist with food distribution exercises.
Sandals Resort in Exuma is a good corporate citizen here on the island of Exuma, and for the number of years that they've been here, they've been really serving the community well, particularly for our people in the Forest Exuma and from Palestine Union Baptist Church. We want to really express our thanks and appreciation to Sandals. They have contributed to us over the years during the Christmas holiday, and here again today. We are just grateful for this wonderful resort and what they mean to the island of Exuma. So we say thanks.
And for Pastor Carson Gray, he appreciates the gesture considering the challenges brought on by COVID-19.
Well, I first of all want to thank the Sandals Foundation. I think the entire island of Exuma has been impacted, by some of the most recent occurrences. Of course, COVID-19 has kind of taken all of the islands of the Bahamas and the world at large by storm. And so a lot of persons on the island of Exuma lost their jobs. And, there are some families, especially single mothers and fathers, that are probably struggling to feed their kids or trying to catch themselves because of what took place. And so I think this would definitely go a long way.
Well, it's time now for a check on Family Island weather with Chief Meteorologist Basil Dean. Good evening, Basil.
Good evening, Makushla. Outside of our studios, we are under clear skies after a cloudy weekend. 66 degrees is the current temperature. Relative humidity at 59%. We have east-northeast winds at 7 miles per hour. The barometric pressure 1,020.4 millibars. That's 30.14 inches, and your pressure is rising. Temperatures around the islands this evening, they are brought to you by Family Guardian Insurance Company. We're protecting you. 63 degrees in Freeport and Greenville Key. Marshall, Abaco at 64 degrees, 67 in the Berry Islands, Allenstown, Bimini 68 also in Harbor Island. Rock Sound, Eleuthera, 69. Black Point, Exuma, Camp Space, St. Andrews at 68. Fresh Creek, Central Andrews at 67 degrees. We're picking up some 69s in San Salvador and Rum Key. Georgetown, a little warmer at 72 degrees. 73 in Ragged Island, Clarence, down Long Island. Crooked Island, Betsy Bay, Maguana, 75. 75 in Acklands, Matthew Tiny, Nago as well. Turks and Caicos Islands at 72 degrees. And your boating forecast tonight is brought to you by Builders Mall, home of FYP, the Tile King, and the Paint Center in the Northwestern Islands. The winds are going to be northeast to east, 12 to 18 knots. Wave heights 3 to 6 feet over the ocean. Low tide takes place at 1:17 in the morning. In the Central and Southeastern Islands, northeast-east winds at 15 to 20 knots with rough seas 4 to 7 feet over the ocean. So caution flags remain in place for the Central and Southeastern Islands tonight. Tomorrow, very little change other than the winds becoming easterly at 12 to 18 knots. knots. Wave heights holding at 3 to 6 feet. High tide 7:41 in the morning, low tide at 2:09 in the afternoon. For the Central Islands, easterly flow 15 to 20 knots, wave heights 4 to 7 feet. And on Wednesday, easterly winds once again, wave heights 3 to 6 feet, high tide 8:31 in the morning with a low tide at 2:57 in the afternoon. Now for the Central and Southeastern Islands, the winds continue to increase out of the east, 15 to 25 knots, wave heights building very rough 5 to 8 feet over the ocean, so that caution will be bumped up to an advisory on Wednesday. And that's going to do it for your boating forecast. It's time now for your international temperatures, and they are brought to you by Royal Star Assurance. That's going to do it for your international temperatures, brought to you by Royal Star Assurance. But stay tuned, your extended weather forecast is still ahead.
Best rate, no delays. Best rate, no delays.
BTC gives more savings on the best fiber internet. It's super fast, with super savings in every package. Compare and see for yourself. Enjoy the best home internet experience for all your work, study, and entertainment.
Best rate, no delays. Best rate, no delays.
Visit a BTC store to sign up for the best internet experience on the Bahamas' best fiber network.
As a mom, I'm always concerned about which products will work best with my baby's skin. And then I tried this diaper called Molfix. The quality is amazing. And I noticed that with the design of Molfix, the air flows easily, so I see no rashes or redness, which I love. But my favorite part is she sleeps straight through the night because it keeps her dry all night. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna stick with this one.
Molfix, the diaper that moves with your baby. Distributed by Variety Disposable Products.
Undecided about the COVID-19 vaccine or booster? Here are some facts to help you make a decision. The vaccine does not cause COVID-19 infection, and there's no evidence that it makes it worse. Approved vaccines are monitored for safety across the globe. Vaccines do not alter your DNA. The vaccine is effective against current variants of the COVID-19 virus. The vaccine can prevent severe illness if you do contract the virus. We're all in this together. Choose wisely.
Any of your candidates?
That's Minister of Agriculture, Marine Resources and Family Island Affairs Clay Sweeting with Parliamentary Secretary Leonardo Lightbourne greeting residents as they traveled to several family islands during last week's local government elections.
So we're just making sure that the process is smooth and see how the turnouts going so far.
Sweeting and Lightbourne visiting Eleuthera, Abaco, and Grand Bahama to observe the process. Sweeting even casting his vote in Spanish Wells, being one of the first local government ministers to vote in a local government election. Then it was off to Marsh Harbor, Abaco, where residents were able to vent some of their frustrations to Sweeting firsthand.
I don't like what I see. I know you do. Okay. And we want to change that as local government to bring some better entertainment, not only, but culture to Abaco.
According to both MPs Kirk Cornish and John Pender, residents have been vocal about changes they want to see facilitated through local government.
North Abaco residents, their major concern is housing. You know, there's been very little done prior to Hurricane Dorian to restore the homes. And hopefully we can get that started.
Throughout the Central and South, we are in infrastructure need. It has been many decades before we've put real infrastructure and upgraded maintained what we use on a regular basis. And it's for the benefit of Abaco's economy, for their people, and for the Bahamas in a whole.
Then it was off to Grand Bahama, where Minister for Grand Bahama Ginger Moxie also casted her vote. She said residents are looking forward to local government representatives that can make things happen.
Actually, they want a local government that works along with government to make things happen. There are a lot of things in the community that those who are always present in the communities are able to do.
Minister Sweeting extending congratulations to all those who took part in the election process.
Congratulate all persons that nominated for local government elections and who paid a contribution to being a part of the process. I'd also like to congratulate those who were elected as local government officials. We have a lot of work to do. I'm looking forward to working with all councillors throughout the Bahamas, throughout the Family Islands, and being a part of the transformative process of local government.
Keeping you in the know with Good to Grow, I'm Giorgio Bain.
This is ZNS Total Sports.
Welcome to sports, everyone. Topping sports news, the Bahamas Lawn Tennis Association's annual general meeting and election of officers was set to take place this past Saturday at the BLTA's National Tennis Center. But that didn't happen as an injunction was granted on Friday afternoon in the Supreme Court of the Bahamas, forcing the event to be delayed. A new date for the AGM is not yet set, as the matter is before the courts. Now, we reached out to current President Perry Newton for comment on the situation. He responded via text, saying it is unfortunate the AGM was not able to take place on the scheduled date and time, and they pray that this matter will be resolved soon, as the association will continue their developmental programs, play tennis, and after-school program, which resume in February. They will also focus on the preparation of the national teams. So there are 2 teams scheduled to go off in February and 2 in early March. We here at ZNS Total Sports will continue to keep you updated as this story progresses. Another Bahamian track superstar excelling on the global stage, national record holder and Olympian Devin Charlton on Saturday, starting her season off with a bang, finishing second in the women's 60-meter hurdles at the Millrose Games in New York, finishing in 7.95 seconds. Charlton on competing against some elite competition.
A lot of times it's easy to lose perspective. And so you might have a bad meet or a bad training session. So like you're down on yourself. But a lot of times I just have to go back and I'm just like, I can probably count on both of my hands the women in the world that can do what I do. And I think not many people are able to say like I'm top 10 in the world at what I do. And so like that, like just going back and like thinking of that, of course you always want to do better. Like I want to be the best that I can be. I want to be the best in the world. But you know, it's taking baby steps and you have to keep everything in perspective.
Now, what's in the immediate window for her?
Immediate event, so far I'm confirmed to race in Louisville at the American Track League in 2 weeks. Trying to get back in New York next week for the New Balance indoor games, but we'll see how that goes. But for the rest of the season, the focus is World Indoors for right now. We have World Outdoors coming up in July, but I just wanted to like segment it and take it one major competition at a time. And so the focus right now is on World Indoors.
Local rower Kyle Shea making an appeal to get more athletes interested in this sport, as well as more recognition for the potential of rowing. He spoke about some recent events that the Bahamas has had that have some of the world's top rowers eyeing the 242.
We have had a championship rower visit from Potomac Rowing Club in Washington, D.C. We had 20 rowers from the United States visit with Sparks Rowing, which is one of the preeminent recruiting vehicles for rowers in the United States. And we also had Kristen Kidd, who coxed the Canadian women's 8 to a gold medal in Tokyo, visiting as well. They have all gone back and they have said how great the conditions are here, and they are ready to come to the Bahamas. Dartmouth University, Colgate University, Harvard University are all sending emails.
She adding that the local rowing association is trying to reach out to athletes that traditionally would not have the opportunity to compete.
There's some great things that are happening. I would love to support you however I possibly can. If there are athletes who want to learn how to swim, we have members who are swim coaches, and we teach them how to swim. We want to work with the GSSA. We would love to get more government school athletes into our program. They grow for free. We provide transportation. We teach them how to swim. We give them equipment and uniforms that have been donated from the UK, Canada, and the US. It's not just about recruitment, it's about retention, and it's about success. So.
News from the NBA. Well, in the offseason, Buddy Hield was a stone's throw away from becoming a Los Angeles Laker. And while that deal was nixed, the interest from the purple and gold brass remains. According to Yahoo's Chris Haynes, it hasn't killed the Lakers' interest in Hield. Haynes reported on his podcast that the Lakers have reached out to the Kings about a package led by Taylor Horton Tucker in exchange for Buddy Buckets. However, the Kings have rebuffed the Lakers and believe they can get a better offer for Hield. Lakers would need to add much more than Horton Tucker just to match Hield's salary. Together, they'll need to include Kendrick Nunn making at least $5 million, at least two of their veterans' minimum salaries. Hield is owed roughly $39 million over the next 2 seasons. Horton Tucker is owed closer to $21 million in that span. That's been a look at sports on this Monday. Check on the weather when we return.
This is ZNS Total Sports.
We're ready with the newly remodeled reception area. We're ready with your safety as our top priority. We're ready with state-of-the-art equipment, cutting-edge technology, and an enhanced patient information platform with online access to your reports for your physician. At Fourth Terrace Diagnostic Center, we're ready to serve you. Open Monday to Friday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Call to make an appointment today.
Hungry and looking for something so satisfying? Something to truly tantalize your taste buds? Then make it Charlie's, the home of the #1 cheesesteak in the world. Also serving up a variety of delicious wings, freshly cooked to order under 10 minutes, with 2 locations to serve you. Mall at Marathon, open from 11 a.m. until 7 p.m. and the East-West Highway next to Solomon's from 11 a.m. until 10 p.m. That's Charlie's, the home of the #1 cheesesteak in the world. 393-3100.
In an effort to get all students engaged in online learning, the Ministry of Education and Technical and Vocational and Training, along with community stakeholders, participated in a community walkabout in the Freetown constituency. Ms. Ingrid Lavarty from the Camp Road Ministries, along with Apostle Rick Dean, said their organizations are focused on getting all of the children back in the classroom.
It is a pleasure for Camp Road Ministries to be joining in this venture because it is also our focus. As a teacher myself, as an educator, I'm retired. So I am presently volunteering my services at Camp Road Ministries.
We thought it very appropriate to come and be a part of this because we understand and recognize that children are the nation. That's the future of the nation. And particularly as a church, we understand how important God considers children.
Principal of the Uriah McPhee Primary School, Ms. Pamela Amelie, said the walkabout is critical to get all of the children back on track.
We are coming out in a friendly atmosphere to help our children. We have in fact, we have 4 groups that are out. We are traveling from St. Margaret's Church, and every single road that we can get to, we're going into St. Bede's area also. So every child that we meet, we would like to have a conversation with them and to know that it's a positive conversation. It's all about getting our children on the virtual platform.
For Ed Talk, I'm Denise Pratt. Want to stay in the know? Subscribe. Text 819-BMOE. That's 819-2663. Remember to like and subscribe to our social media platforms.
Fixed
and mobile services provided by Cable Bahamas Business Solutions helps our customers help their customers adapt to the new way of paying for things. Digital wallets makes your transactions faster, more convenient, and secure. Whether it's using a debit card at the grocery store or making online payments for your monthly expenses, Digital Wallets powered by Cable Bahamas Business Solutions makes it better. For more information on our fixed and mobile services, contact the experts at 601-8911 in Nassau or 602-8811 in the Family Islands.
Throughout our lifetime, we must all make decisions. No matter how we choose, the right one just needs to be made. Like having J.S. Johnson Insurance Agents and Brokers as your insurance partner. We've been serving the Bahamas for over 100 years. Whether you need home, motor, marine, or commercial insurance, make the right decision. Call 397-2100 or visit jsjohnson.com.
JS Johnson Insurance. Peace of mind.
Resolve to save money this week at Super Value and Quality Supermarkets. Kellogg's family size assorted cereals, 19 to 24 ounce, $4.99. Campbell's SpaghettiOs and meatballs, 8 ounce, 2 for $1.29. Wild Caught salmon, $7.99 per pound. Fresh tomatoes, $1.59 per pound. Heavenly Soft paper towels, $4 to $5. Save each week at Super Value and Quality Supermarkets.
Look, I don't know who Sean they think I am, all right? I only win 2 BAISS championships. I deal with connectivity.
Alive. What do we got?
Well, we are 100% Bahamian owned, and we inspired all Bahamians to believe in best. And we delivered on revolutionizing telecommunications in the Bahamas. Not to mention, our network works in the good days and the bad.
Thank you. But I need you to go faster. Be better.
Time now for weather.
In our final look at weather after a chilly weekend, things are going to gradually start warming up, but the nights will still remain a bit on the comfortable side. Frontal system now backing out towards the southeast, leaving the Bahamas, leaving behind an area of high pressure, which will dominate the weather over the next 6 to 7 days. Tonight, we are going in for a partly cloudy, still chilly conditions with a low temperature of 56 degrees, and tomorrow, breezy with variable cloudiness, 75 degrees for your high, and your extended weather forecast. We're going to have pretty nice weather in terms of sky cover. Temperature-wise, we're going to warm up, gradually getting up into the upper 70s. We'll hit an 80 sometime on Friday, but basically we'll keep you in the upper 70s during the daytime. Nighttime temperatures warming up into the upper 60s, and that too will hold for the next 7 days. Makushla.
Well, thanks, Basil. That does it for the Bahamas tonight. Thank you for continuing to make ZNS your first choice for news and information. Only the sun covers the Bahamas better than ZNS. From all of us here at ZNS, thank you for watching and good night.
You're watching the ZNS Network, the People's Station.
There is a reported health crisis here in the Bahamas, and food is